Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. We are back with another great episode, another great recording of a podcast that we have. And today, as yesterday, we had a great time. So if you missed it yesterday, look at my account, look on YouTube. It's there for you to replay. So, and just to let you know that we're also working on some Spanish episodes coming up soon. Tomorrow is going to be fantastic. So don't miss tomorrow. I have an extremely special guest. It's going to be in Spanish. Así que para aquellos que hablan español, mañana vamos a tener un episodio en español con una gran sorpresa. No se lo pierdan. Don't miss it. It's going to be amazing. So today we have a special guest. Today we're going to be talking about a new kind of woman. So different expectations. So stay tuned. Please make sure you share. Make sure you are just engaging. If you have a question, if you have a comment, we will read them as we go. Even if you do it after replay, I will always answer. We will read them. So join us as we talk today. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So as you know, I always read an introduction because this will go on YouTube. All right. So stick with us. So welcome to Muddy and Friends. Today I have the pleasure of introducing an incredible guest, Talish Sweetenberg. Talish is a beautiful native of San Diego, a devoted Christian, and a proud veteran of the United States Army. She is the loving wife of her best friend, Lucian. I know personally, he's amazing, and a dedicated mother of four. With an impressive 22-year career as a government administrator, Talish has also made a significant contribution as a minister and as the president of the Eta Pi Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Inc. But that's not all. She's also the founder of Grit to Ground Coaching LLC, where she empowers others as a life, health, and wellness and empowerment coach. Talish's interests are as diverse as they are fascinating. She loves studying theology, psychology, and food science. In her free time, she enjoys going to the movies, spending quality time with her family, and staying active throughout workouts. Above all, her ultimate passion is to see people whole and healthy. So please join me in welcoming the inspiring Talish to the show.
Yes.
Yeah! Woo! All right, Talish.
Thank you. Thank you, Maria. Amazing introduction. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. It's all true. It's all true because I know you personally. So I have been trying to get you to do this podcast for a long time, right?
Long
Since
time.
last year. Because either you're busy or
Yeah.
I'm busy or it just, things happen, and but we are here today and we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about. So
Yeah.
this is the right time. So today we're going to be talking about something that's very important because I'm in the journey of trying to get healthy. I'm in
Mhm.
the journey of trying to do better. So, and after the cancer and after so many things have happened, I'm really concerned of keeping the health that I've got and
Yeah.
staying healthy. And also, I want to talk to you because I've seen you navigate, your Christian life and business, your coaching, being president, being a wife and mother and this juggling act. And I know we had a conversation of the expectations that the world has, that Wonder Woman syndrome, and how it's changed. So, say you're welcome and, tell me what you think about this Wonder Woman syndrome. We'll start there.
Yeah. So Wonder Woman syndrome is it's a mindset that many women have of just always wanting to do it all, because we're such nurturers. So we want to save the day,
Yeah.
and we believe as women we have these superpowers and we have to be so strong for everyone, and it can consume you, it consumes us. Just as you mentioned, last year it was crazy. It was crazy this year with just doing it all, having a hard time saying no, because we love people, or people persons, and all of that. So with the Wonder Woman syndrome, it begins to consume you where you lose yourself. And then going into fitness, which you spoke about, that's where a lot of us women, we put ourselves last, right? We're doing everything for everyone. So when it comes time to, or even pursuing our passions, which is great, but just needing that time to focus on our health so that we can be the best for everyone, but we have to be good to ourselves first.
That's right. How do you see, let me ask you this question. How do you see what is required of a woman nowadays compared to, let's say, 10, 15 years ago? The expectations, have they changed?
They have changed, I believe, in a great way. You know, there's pros and cons, of course. Prior to the women's suffrage movement, we were mostly seen as just in the kitchen,
Yeah,
right? Cooking, taking care of the kids, making sure our husbands was good, but we didn't work. And we didn't say much, do much. We were just kind of very much in that submissive role. And then as time progressed and women began to find their voices and really speak out, knowing that we were capable of so much more, we worked more, right? And so we were less in the kitchen, less at home, but working more and pursuing our passions and our dreams, and CEO of companies and presidents of companies and all of those things. We now start to eat out more,
yeah.
right? And we are really out in the open more, so we're less at home. And by the time you get home, you're tired.
Oh my God, tell me about it. So that happens to me because sometimes I am being really transparent. When I come home, I've done grocery shopping to prepare ahead of time. But then I'm so tired and I look at the clean kitchen and then it's like, do I cook and mess it up? But then I have to clean it myself. Nah,
Uh-huh.
I'll just get a hamburger and just eat it and go to bed. And that's right there, not good. Hi Sally. Thank you for joining the show. So yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, it's great that we found our voice, right? That we are letting the world know that we are just as capable. We're just as able as women to pursue passions. And some, really still try to go home and cook and prepare dinner and get the kids ready. And then that's where that Wonder Woman syndrome comes in, where we're then trying to do everything, and sometimes no hit on the men, but for them to really see relationships as partnerships. For those who are married, that it's a partnership. You work, I work, right? So it's not just me in the kitchen cooking, it's not just me in the kitchen cleaning and washing the clothes and getting the kids ready, but we do it together. But I think that there's still a mindset that women still need to be the ones to cook and clean and all that, and it's difficult trying to do it all.
And how do you think we can start? Because I do see that you and your husband, I do see that you guys do have this partnership, and
Mhm.
it seems like you guys have talked it out. Like it has been an agreement between both of you to do that.
Mhm.
And as a woman of faith, um, how does that play? Because sometimes we get into this thing that this machista role that
Mhm.
no, yeah, yeah, and this and this. So what kind of conversations do you have with your husband to to work these things out? Because I mean, we need some of that.
You know what? It's so funny. When I was a teenager, I wanted to be that woman, that submissive woman.
Really, what changed?
I did. I'm like, yeah, when I get married, I'm gonna cater to him. He comes home, I'm gonna make sure dinner is ready. I'm gonna take off his shoes and rub his feet. I was really just, I'm gonna be that woman. And so Lucian is my second husband,
Yeah,
right? So my first husband, through the military, I wanted to be that woman.
yeah.
Well, both of them were more like, you don't have to do that. Lucian,
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
Lucian, even now, he's like, you don't have to cook. I'll throw me on a hot dog or something like that. And I'm like, no, so, and I still do have some of that mindset, especially because I'm so much into health. And he's definitely a country boy.
Yeah.
He loves him some
Meat and potatoes and ribs and cornbread and collard greens and
yeah.
good
So I
stuff.
introduced him to salmon. He's like, what is that? Literally. Yeah.
I can imagine. Oh my God. How did you do that?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So, cooking and all that I still do, but he also does as well. He does cook, and he's definitely not one of those guys who are just like, it's what I say, it's what I do. It is a partnership. Even with the house, like I hate folding clothes. I hate
Oh,
washing clothes.
really? Oh my God.
Do I do? So when we got married, I'm like, look, can we
Yeah.
make an agreement? I will clean all the house if you would just wash the clothes.
So you had those conversations, those clear
Yeah,
conversations.
he does.
Because I know when I was married, oh my God, I cleaned everything. My thing was the bathroom. I just like couldn't. I just like, I just like, that's not me. Like, I'll divorce you.
Like,
Oh no, that's not. That's like, oh my God, that was just so. I would do it. I mean, when I had to, but he really helped me with that. He was really good. Like he was spotless, like great. So that, but we did have those conversations.
yeah,
We did set expectations. We were clear. We
yeah.
even compromised. Like I took because there's some things that he would not do, and then
Mhm.
I would do them. Absolutely. But there was that compromise of expectations, and in my
Mhm.
experience, what my mom was expected to do is different from what I'm doing. Is
Mhm.
different from I'm sure that the next generation is doing. Like this generation nowadays does things that I would have not dreamed of doing. But
Yeah,
it's a different mindset, like you were saying. It's a different
yeah.
time, and these times obligate us or force us to make those changes in the womanhood and in our expectations. And how do you feel about multitasking sometimes between work and the church and this and that? How is that? Like,
Yeah. You know, I think that most women just have that mindset that we can do it all. We really do try to do it all. And it can be exhausting. I mean, I think that there's nothing wrong with wearing, different hats and wanting to pursue different passions and all that. But getting to a place where it's like, man, trying to be all for everyone else, it's a lot. Multitasking, it definitely is a skill, to have, but definitely knowing when to pull back, is my thing. So, as you know, I don't know if I told you, but July has been my me month, right?
tell me, talk to us about that. Talk to us about that because that was pretty cool. That was really good. So tell us what you did or what you're
It's my
doing.
month. So it's my no. I just really always had a hard time saying no. Um, it's if anyone needed me, yes, I can do that. I can do that. I can be here. I could do there. I will volunteer for this. Just that's just my personality. That's the nature of who I am.
Sure.
But I got to a point where I was reaching burnout. Honestly, like I was getting to a place of burnout where I was exhausted and I didn't want to be around anyone. I didn't want to do anything. Like I just wanted to be alone. And I knew that wasn't good, especially because I have, my children, my daughter, Destiny is
Yeah.
older.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
My husband. And when it gets to the point where you're doing so much where you're neglecting who you are to be to your family, or even just to yourself, then it's an issue,
Yeah.
it's a problem. So I said, you know what, I'm going to do nothing for the month of July. It has been so,
Really?
it has been. But I really, really have been trying to be disciplined. I get up, I do my meditation. I have this workbook. Girl, this workbook is the bomb.
What is it? Self love work for women? Tell me about that.
This workbook literally takes you into your past, how you think about yourself. Where did your thoughts about yourself stem from? Maybe people have spoken to you into you as a kid and you didn't really realize what they said and you internalized it and it became the opinion of yourself. And it could have been as a child, it could have been in a relationship that was
Wow.
dysfunctional, could have been friends, but you internalize that and you start to think that about yourself. And so it really just asks you all these different questions, recognizing your insecurities or your critical voice. Do you have feelings of unworthy? Like, tell me a time where
Yeah.
you felt unworthy. And then draw pictures. There's one, then you flip over, and then it also asks you about a self love. When did you really have a self love moment? Where you felt like, wow, I'm really worthy of this. Have you had those? So it has you write all those things out, your gifts, your strengths, your talents, what motivates you, maybe hurdles you may have of loving yourself. So yeah, it's a really
So,
good,
so this bounce has been about working on yourself,
yeah,
doing the work, doing the deep, asking the questions.
yeah.
Because I've noticed that when I talk to people, and I've noticed is that when I start asking them, how do you feel about this? Or how do you? Or tell me you, and I ask about them,
Mm,
they hesitate, like they're not used to asking those questions. Because if I say, tell me five defects or five negative characteristics of this person, boom boom, they'll tell me, oh, there's this or this or that, they're just boom 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 right after.
yeah,
And I said,
yeah.
okay, tell me five negative traits about you,
Mm,
five things that you need to work on. Well, I am a workaholic. Those are not, things like that. But it's easier, really much easier when we look at other people, when we
yeah.
talk to other people, when we know how to explain why. Oh, I think Maria behaves like this because her mom and blah, blah, blah. I think Maria behaves like this because her dad and da, 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 da. Oh, because of this. And Maria's like this. But then I ask you, tell me why you are the way you are. Tell me, like you said, when was the last time you felt good about yourself? When was the last time you said no and you were okay with it?
Yeah.
Because that is one, because let's talk about this perfectionist thing that we need to be as women. And personally, I know that we've all dealt with this.
Mhm.
Like, you got to be beautiful, you got to be skinny, you got to be a great mom, you got to be an amazing CEO, you got to do it all. I mean, I believe personally you can do it all, but not all at once.
Mhm. And you don't have to be perfect at
But
it.
this obsession, let's start with the social media, the filters. Like,
Yeah.
let's start there. Okay, I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna be recorded. Okay, so it's just gonna be my witness.
Okay.
I use filters. Yes, I do. But you can also see a lot of my pictures without filters.
Yeah. Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of pictures without filters. So that's all I'm saying. I will use filters, but you can find my real face.
It would be beautiful to get to a point where we don't care what other people think. And I think a lot of, us using, and not to say, you're using filters because you care what
Correct.
other people think, because I do think that there's a point where when I get dressed and I go out, it's for me.
Yes.
When I want to look good, it's
Yeah.
for me. And then sometimes there is a perception, with guys that, oh, she's doing that for attention, or there is that perception out there. However, I think it's important too to get as a woman that you're doing it for yourself. And that with this self-love book, you really start to reflect on, okay, is this for someone else to see, to validate me? Or am I doing it for me? Is it because I am okay with me, flaws and all, right?
Correct. Correct.
So, like, I'll be very transparent. I'm 47.
You look
Okay.
amazing.
Thank you.
Oh my God, we are making 40s and above look amazing. Hold
Yes.
on. We have a
Yes.
comment from Sally. Sally says, absolutely. We need to love ourselves and be okay with what we've got. Yay, Sally.
Yes.
Sally,
Love it all.
Sally's really pretty. She's 60. Can I say that?
Wow.
She's
You're
amazing.
gorgeous.
She sure is. She sure is.
Yes, and being proud of flaws and all. I'm at a stage right now where I'm kind of hitting that perimenopause stage, and it's definitely different. And that's not a subject a lot of women talk about. And I don't know if it's a shame thing
Oh,
or,
it's the same thing. Oh, as soon as you start talking about menopause, it's
oh,
like, oh, your life is over.
it's
Your
not.
life is over.
And it's not. And that's what I would love to just talk about as women. There is nothing wrong with going through this next phase of life, which it is, and
Right.
embracing it and loving yourself, and you know all of those things. And then the more that you understand who you are, what your body's going through, it's also easier to understand, okay, how do I go into this phase of now trying to lose weight,
Yeah.
and how my body is changing and all of those things, right?
I am telling you that you are an example. So many women are starting to be that example that as soon as they hit a certain age, they start looking great, like amazing, like taking care of yourself and doing things. Like I remember when several of my tias and I remember family friends that when I was younger, as soon as they hit 40 or 45, it was like they all they wanted to wear was muumuus. Like what? Was there a club?
What are you
Was
talking
there a
about?
sale? I mean, I even thought, did somebody send you a muumuu when you hit 40 something? This is like total muumuu city, like boom, boom, muumuus and a hair up in the bun and just hide because it is over. Your life is over. Like, and it's
Finish.
muumuus and muumuus, gray hair, and just start eating chips and potatoes because it is over. And oh my god, but I have seen how women are just changing that. They're
Yeah,
just changing that.
that when you start reaching, I would say 40s is when you definitely need to start to do more strength training for us women. As we get older, um, osteoporosis kicks in and arthritis and all those things, and then your weight fluctuates because of hormones is out of balance, and so it's definitely important to start doing more strength training so that you can build your muscles up, that so you can be supported as you're getting older.
And I'm really excited about the class that you're gonna give us a couple of ladies we got together, and she's gonna set us straight in regards to
Yeah.
sugar and all the sugar stuff. And I'm like, I'm excited for it, but at the same time, I'm like not dreading it, but I'm like, oh, because because once you know, you have the responsibility to act on it.
Yeah.
Once you know and you have been shown and you have been discovered,
It's
you've
not
been
easier for me,
exposed.
Maria.
Now you can't have no. I can't now. Next time you see me, I can't have no excuse. Like I tell you, I'm a little chunky here and there. You're gonna look at me, girl. I told you. I
No,
told you what
no,
you needed
no,
to do.
no. It's not even easy for me, I have my cravings. I love my sugars and carbs. I love bread. I love to throw down and eat, honey. I love food. I do, but even the more, it's important because I know, to have those moments of discipline in there. Sometimes it's difficult to do it continuously, even though consistency is important, especially when you have goals. You always want to be consistent. But I think that we just, even for myself, be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
especially as I'm hitting this new age in womanhood, I'm growing.
Womanhood. Ooh. Sally says it is chocolate for Sally and I. We're in the same club. I
Yeah.
mean, shoo. Sally and ooh, that chocolate gets me all the time. And
Yeah.
then I like anything that's dipped in bacon, grease, or lard. That's it for me.
Chocolate, bacon dipped chocolate. They have those at the fair.
You always come up with the weirdest thing, like, oh my god. Remember, okay, so Talish gave me this coffee situation. It was supposed to be coffee. It was
But
tea.
you
It
were
was
supposed
tea.
to brew it like coffee.
Girl, you didn't give me the directions. I saw this package like this, and I said, "Okay, cool." The whole thing goes in there, and then in one little cup. Oh my god! But it tasted good though.
Supposed
It
to brew it. Okay, you have to brew the coffee.
But it was for a whole jug. I did it for 1 cup. Oh my! It tasted good, but it was like too strong. I was like, oh, this is like ah. But we
Yeah,
need to try it again. We need to try it again.
tablespoons per 8 ounces, and you
Yeah,
put like
I
10
didn't.
tablespoons.
I did not follow instructions. But you're always the reason I'm mentioning that is because you're always looking, and I know that about you because we talk about it a lot. You're always looking for different alternatives. Like when I tell you, "Hey, Talish, I have one craving for chocolate," you'll tell me things like, "Okay, but eat dark chocolate." Or,
Yeah,
"Hey, I need this," or, "How about this?" And she goes, "Okay, but watch out for the different types of sugar. It doesn't have regular sugar, but it has something else." Or you'll tell me, "Look at this calories and look at this." And
those sugars, no bueno.
yeah, and what I like about you is that you are so patient in the understanding that it's a process for us.
Yeah,
That you don't shame us in any way. You don't. But when you come in, you come in and you're looking all put together and all nice, we're like, dang, that's how he works out. And I'm like, oh my God. And that's why we will take your advice, because you're a billboard for your business. You're a billboard. You really are a billboard. You're the biggest advertisement for your business when it comes to wellness. And as long as I've known you, it's not like this is a fad for you. I have seen you throughout the years be
yeah,
this dedicated to fitness and wellness. So you truly live the life, and I appreciate that. So oh, and
yeah.
we have some. Hi, Diana. Diana says hi. She's
Hi,
watching.
Diana.
And Sally again, yes, smart substitutes. And mi tia Gloria from Milwaukee. Woohoo! Hola tia, hola tia.
Hola.
So, take a moment for mi tia querida. So
Yeah,
yeah, so all these things that you always given these tips that
yeah,
are so if anybody wants Talish to talk to you, I'm sure she's willing to do so. Just send us a message, send a comment, and we'll get her. She's a coach. She has a whole business about it. And what is the business called? Grit to Grind
right.
Coaching.
Yes.
And we're gonna get some of that. And I'm like, I'm excited about it, but at the same time, ooh, I'm gonna be held responsible because now I know.
We're going to have little tasters. It's really the class is about the difference between sugar and carbs. It's a difference. So, the conversation came up with the conversation we were having in the break room
Yes.
about how much sugar you should have versus, carbs. And I think a lot of times people clump it all together. Right. So it's definitely going to be educational, the difference. And then we're going to taste it, simple carbs, complex carbs, and what the sugar is. And we're going to have some sweets for Melissa.
And for me,
Ew, yes.
because I can honestly say sugar is the biggest. I mean, sugar is hard. It's like an addiction. Some people are
It's
like,
an addiction. It's only a few molecules away from that other, I don't know if I could say.
no, don't get us shut down. But that other substance,
Other
substance, yeah,
substances. Yeah. So it is because it gives you a dopamine high. It's how it
yes,
makes you feel,
yes.
right?
It
And then
gives you
just
that high.
yeah, yeah. So it does become addictive.
So another thing that I wanted to talk to you about, and this is part of because I know you do wellness coaching and you do different kind of coaching, and you've worked with women and like in your sorority and in your coaching in church. How important it is, and I want you to talk about this. Is sisterhood, is women supporting other women instead of seeing each other like competition.
Oh yeah,
I want you to talk about that too.
I decided I was young. I want to say I was in my young teens or 20s. I grew up in San Diego, where I grew up. It's just always been a common theme where girls will look at each other up and down, like, you
Yes.
know, I don't like her. Literally, I would have friends that say, I don't like her. You don't even know her. Why you don't like her?
Yeah, just the way she looks.
Just the yeah, up and down, up and down. And it's a mindset that carries with you. But I never liked that. And so I was watching what is her name? Model, dark skin, Victoria's Secret model back in the day. I
Oh
can't
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh my god, I know you're talking about. Yes, yes, I know you get. She's tall, beautiful. Didn't she do
beautiful.
something with? Did she have some reality shows?
Yes,
Tyra
America's
Banks.
Top
Tyra Banks.
Model. Yes.
Tyra Banks.
And I was watching one of her shows and really was talking about the importance of uplifting, and it makes you feel better when you uplift others, right? Even if it's a simple like, hi beautiful, how are you doing, or I like your lipstick, or I like your earrings. And having that compassion and love for each other, it does something to yourself. And in my journey from my own self-confidence and self-esteem, I made it a point. Yes. Yep. Tyra Banks. Made it a point to want to do that. So I started doing that, more and more. And I would do that to some women. They would look at me like I'm crazy. Like, why is she saying hi?
Right, right, yeah.
Or even sometimes, I don't know if you ever feel like when somebody compliments you, it kind of feels weird, you
You know
know?
what? I used to, and this is really, really good because I used to feel weird. I used to feel awkward until I learned how to receive it. It
Yes.
took me a while because I remember people would say, "Oh, I like your smile," and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, but I have an ugly this," or they say, "Oh, I like your dress, this whole thing, this
Yeah.
I had," and then you start minimizing the
Yourself.
compliment or saying the reason why you're not worthy of that compliment.
Mm,
Until I started doing self, I started reading and understanding and getting knowledge, and I understand I'm going to receive that love. I'm just going to receive it. And I'm going to say, thank you. Appreciate that. Thank
yeah.
you. And because it puts the other person in an awkward state and
Yeah.
then it gets awkward. No, this whole thing. Oh, no, no, no. And then I'm like, oh, well, I'm sorry. I gave you a compliment. I really like, forget that. Next time I'm just going to walk over and just not say,
I didn't say anything.
yeah, I'm just, hey, forget you then. Forget you.
That helps in the bond of sisterhood, right? And I think sometimes it's difficult for women to really come together because of those self insecurities, those self esteem issues that we have. And so it's difficult for me to even receive a compliment because of how I feel about myself. And because of how I feel about myself, it's difficult for me to give a compliment, So it's always this comparison thing that a lot of women have. And I've really just been on a journey of loving women, really just complimenting you and embracing you and supporting you in your endeavors, and, whatever it is that I can do to be your biggest motivator in that moment that we're having a conversation. I believe that is, some of the basis and foundation of sisterhood, which I really believe is biblically very important when it comes to even bearing each other's burdens or carrying each other's burdens, lifting your hands up when you're tired and when you're struggling. So that's just really kind of the journey that I've been on for a while.
And how do you handle, because I know you have experience in this, and in regards to leadership, how have you handled when you've come across women that aren't, they don't think that way. They don't think like us. They are like, let me gatekeep the information. Let
Yeah.
me gatekeep this. Because I'm, and I've shared this before and I'll share it real quick, that one of my biggest motivators to do these podcasts is because I want the knowledge. I want to share the knowledge. I want to share what I've learned so other people, it's easier on them. So I'm a teacher by nature. So I want to teach you. I want to tell you. I don't want to hold back because I want to make it easier on you. I'll never forget this lady that I just had Daniel, my oldest son, and I remember that I was having trouble breastfeeding, and I was just he wouldn't latch, and it was just all these little things. And I came to her and I said, "Hey, you know what? Do you have any tips? Do you have anything you can share with me?" And we were in church, and this was a woman of God, and she was all somebody I felt comfortable going to, and she said, when I was young, there was nobody there to help me. So, and I figured it out on my own. So you need to figure it out on your own.
Mm.
I was like, Jesus, what?
Wow.
I
Yeah.
just I couldn't believe that she gatekeep that. She could have, I
Yeah.
mean, she had 4 kids. She
Yeah.
knew something about something. But
Yeah.
no, and I remember I'll never forget that moment. And I said, I'm not gonna be that way. I'm
Yeah.
share it all as much as I can to everybody who hears. I'm going to try to make other people's life easier because, but when I come, when I confront that, I'm like, there is a special place in hell for women that don't help women.
Yeah, yeah. I've encountered a lot of that in
How do
my.
you deal with that? Because it's just like, oh
Um,
my God.
You know, to be honest with you, it was always in my endeavor to want to seek out mentorship because you want to grow, right? You want to be the
Absolutely.
best version of you and just really wanting to seek out mentorship. And it's been difficult journey, to really find a woman who was like, yeah, I'll mentor you or be your big sister or whatever the case is. It has been a difficult journey.
What do you think goes through their mind in those cases?
You know, I'll say I had kind of a reverse situation that kind of happened, a few years back where I had a young woman who wanted to be mentored, right, by me. And, I think that sometimes we see other women and we automatically assume they have the answer, maybe because of the position that they're in, the title, or we see the woman because of how she looks and how she carries herself and all of that, that she has the answer, but not really understanding that she has her own insecurities. She has her
Oh,
own issues. And so she may not feel able or capable of really being there for you, that mentor, you know, and I can see how that can be, having mentored myself, am I capable of this? Can I? And I think that that could be, and that's kind of how I internalized it, And so for me, especially as a life coach, one thing that's important is that I coach myself. How
yeah.
can I coach someone else if I can't coach myself? So that has kind of how I've internalized that and how I've been running with that. I coach myself, I do the homework, I do the work. Hence, the name of my business, Grit to Grind. It
Yeah.
takes work,
It sure.
right? And so that's kind of what I do, that I make sure that's a part of me putting myself first and having those talks with myself. If I could, have a conversation with 10-year-old Talish, what would it be?
Yeah.
How do I comfort that hurt child so that I can let her know now it's okay, to live the rest of your life forward in the direction in which God has intended. So
And
that's
and I think that's very important to have that honest conversation. That if somebody comes to you and they want coaching, you can say, you know what, that I'm still working things out. Let me maybe like I suggest somebody else.
being
But
honest.
be honest, right? Be honest in that. And I also think that one of the best ways we can coach others and teach others is live it.
Yeah.
Live it. Like that's why I'm telling you. That's
Living
what.
it honestly.
Yes, because that's one of the reasons why I'll take coaching all day long from you when it comes to nutrition and exercise and all that stuff because you live it. So and this is one of the things that is the saying that I kind of always say here and there is that you can't teach what you don't know and you can't give what you don't have and you can lead where you won't go. So
Hmm.
if you are not doing the work, you won't be an effective leader. You won't be an effective teacher. And
Yeah.
that is part of the price that we have to pay. Like we have to, like you're saying, sit down and do the work, ask the tough questions, say, live the no, live the yes,
Hmm.
live the maybe, live the uncertainty that I don't know how to work this out, but I want to find somebody that can teach me
Yeah.
and live the life that, okay, I can learn from others. I'm not the only one with all the answers. There's
Mhm.
Elise that has the answers about the sugars and the carbs. There's Elise that has, the answers on how to wing myself out of Coke Zero and break that habit and break. Oh my God, that is just crazy. So, and then just, going through the experience, like Sally was saying, going through the experience, going through it and being open to see it through all the way to the
Yeah.
other end. Because sometimes what I've seen happen in women that we start going through problems and we get stuck in the valley. Like
Yes.
we won't go through we can't seem to go all the way through the other end. It's like
Yeah.
you know how the Bible says that though I walk through the shadow of the valley of death, I will feel no evil. And I see women that just halfway through the valley they pitch a tent.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they pitch a tent, and not only that, they get comfortable, and then they start putting flowers, and then they start decorating literally.
Setting up a home in the valley.
Yes, they start. You know what? I want to preach this. You know, I want to write some of those notes because these are good. They start.
I'm sorry. You can lie, right? My baby just came in.
Oh, hi, 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 hello, hello, hi. That's
Hey,
my
Maria.
baby.
How you doing?
Good, good. How about yourself?
I'm good. I just came back from Miami, so I'm great.
You can. How was it? Hey, wait, hey. How was it? How was Miami?
It was a different experience, and I
Really?
was not aware that there were so many Cubans.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The culture there. Yes.
It is
Cubans,
strong.
Puerto Ricans,
A lot
Cubans,
of Puerto Ricans. Oh,
Puerto
it
Ricans.
was just. I mean, it was so strong. I was thinking like me going to Miami, being on this trip. There was, to be honest, that I thought there were going to be more Black people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every restaurant that I went to, people hardly spoke English. You go
That's
to the
right.
gas stations, to well, really anywhere. I even stayed at a hotel where
We're live. This is my show.
oh hi.
No, that's
Hotel.
we're thinking that's fine. We're thinking the sideways. And what happened?
I stayed at a hotel and I was the foreigner because I was American.
Is that so?
Yes, it was.
Wow.
I had
That
a great experience
That's
going
some
to the
good
beach.
food, though.
It was some good food. The food was good. It was very pricey. Spent about $1,000.
oh, because it's Florida. I mean, the economy over there is different. What part of Florida did you go to?
Miami.
Miami.
Of
Welcome
course.
to
You went to the
Yeah.
money
expensive.
situation. You went
Yeah.
to the expensive part. Yeah.
We'll be doing it again.
No time soon.
No time soon. But yeah, I went to the beach. You know, I'm from Georgia and I love the
Yeah.
water. I love swimming in the ocean again.
Oh, I bet that was fun. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing your experience. I'm glad you're back. Welcome back.
Bye, babe.
Bye. So where were we? What were we saying?
So
Yeah.
we were just talking about, women and their
Oh
experiences,
yeah. Yeah.
mentorship, and just being
Absolutely.
honest if,
Yeah.
you can't. But then I think also just maybe looking at it from a, more positive perspective that maybe she just is not capable. But, there are some women who I think that we think because they're in certain positions, we have these great expectations of
We
how
do. Yeah, we do.
act, how they should, and it's not really fair, to be honest with you,
Well,
because
talk about that because I remember you and I had a conversation that certain positions that you have been in the past required you to be a certain way, and you were not that way, and it was very difficult for you to follow that expectation that was asked of you because you. How did you deal with all of that?
you know, I've been really kind of reading a lot and watching, podcasts, and a term that has come up quite frequently is code switching,
Okay.
right? And so code switching is trying to be something that you're not in order to make it in a certain way. So for instance, I may have a job that may require me to put on a certain voice. So I have to talk like this. Hi, how are you doing today?
Oh wow.
So in order for me to be accepted, right? Or in the military, braids at one point were not allowed. I remember in basic training, I had braids, and they say you need to take that out of your hair. You can't, you can't be this way. You can't do this. You have to talk this way. You have to stand this way. You have to sit this way. Your posture. So, just constantly trying to conform to be a certain way in order to be accepted or for approval. And that's not really who you are. That's not really how you talk. You really, may want to wear your hair, for Black women in an afro or natural and not straight, or, however, whatever situation you may find yourself. So that's kind of like a term and something that growing up, I had been taught, when you go to this job, this is how you need to act. This is how you need to dress. This is how you need to stand. So you're constantly doing these things. Um, and you get to a point where it's like, okay, well, who am I?
Yeah.
Am I being authentically me? Because then if not, then I'm getting this job being this way, but that's not really how I am or who I am. So I think that sometimes it's difficult for a lot of women, just as being a woman, and sometimes maybe even a minority women,
Yeah, absolutely.
and having to be something that you're not.
That's one of the things that all of us have to decide how much we're going to conform. Because
Yeah.
I do understand that there are guidelines that if you want to be part of certain organizations, of course you're going to have to follow the rules. Of course you're going to have to protect that image. Of course there's a sense of duty to whatever is it that they're trying to accomplish, but you have to know who you really are in order to be able to decide, okay, this is the limit for me. This is
Mm-hmm.
where there's a boundary. This is where I draw the line. Yes, I will conform. Yes, I will respect what is asked of me. Yes, I will do it. Yes, I will conform. But at a certain point, this is my stopping point. This
Mm-hmm.
is it. From here on, I have to say no, no, thank you, because
Yeah.
I have, like you said, you've lost yourself, and that's one of the things that it's very important. And you can chime in on this, is that you need to definitely know who you are, and that's one of the things that I learned later in life, because I tried to conform to certain standards of the church. I tried to conform certain expectations of the husband I had, people around me. And I remember that I became the person they wanted me to be so I could be accepted. And then something very interesting happened, that when I got divorced and I cut all ties, and I mean, I had to start from scratch. Like, I did not even have the name of one person on my phone, on my new phone. After that, everything, I just lost everything. Then I was like, okay, I'm going to be me.
Yeah.
And I had people say, "Who are you? And
Yeah.
why are you talking like that? And why are you being like that?" And I'm saying, this is the real me.
Yeah. You were, and that's what code switching is.
And I started to learn, okay, you know what? For so many years, I was eating vanilla ice cream because that's what was expected of me, and this and this. And and I became comfortable with vanilla ice cream. And all of a sudden, I tried Rocky Road, and I'm like, oh my God, what happened? I tried pistachio, I tried other flavors, and I'm like, this whole world. It was like, oh my God, I don't know what I really like. I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know what I don't know who am I, because for so many years, all I woke up, it was a wife, a mother, and a
Yeah.
worker. Wife, a mother, and a worker. Never did I stop to think, what did I want?
Everything for everybody else. Everything. And that's what we do. We try to be everything for everybody else. And the issue with that is that everyone won't always like it.
Exactly.
So in your, conforming and code switching, they're not going to like it that day, or how you did it, or the way you did it, so then you find yourself on this roller
Oh
coaster.
yeah.
And then you find, and a lot of that adds to stress, and stress adds to sickness, and being sick, and just because you're not really authentically being able to be yourself.
And Miss Shannon says, I understand that. I am learning who I am daily. And that's true. And
Yeah.
in this part of learning, I also had to get new friends. So
Yeah.
tell me, I want you to talk about it, and we'll land the plane with this. How important is true friendships? And if anybody there out there listening, tell me if you have friends, and how important are they to your journey?
Yeah. Friendship is, as in my husband's fraternity, one of their mottos is, friendship is essential to the soul.
Wow.
And I truly believe that, to be able to have a circle of friends, and I do believe you have different circles. You may be able to tell one group of friends this, and another group over here, different, just in whatever that relationship is. But to be able to have that support, to be able to vent, to be able to be heard in those relationships. I mean, that is the epitome of awesomeness, I believe, Yeah.
I have friends that I've known since I was a little girl, and we've kept in touch throughout the years. I
Yeah.
have really close friends, friends that I have very few friends that they're the type of friends that I'll say, dude, somebody, and they'll be like, okay, I'll get the shovel. Where are we going? Where are we gonna bury the body?
Well, ride or die friends. Yes, I love it. And it's so funny because we all want that type of woman in our life. Um, and what I find odd is if we all want that type of woman, why is it so hard to be that woman for someone else?
Correct.
You
Because
know?
and that's when you it's because when you find that person in your life that is that type of friend, you have the responsibility to nurture that and take care of that friendship. Like
Yeah.
there are friendships in my life that came after the divorce because and they were unexpected. I didn't think they would know understand me, and they came, and one of them didn't go through her divorce, but she was there and
Mhm.
she sat with me. I don't know how many understand the phrase, maybe I'm not pronouncing it right. Sitting Shiva. Have you heard that expression? Sitting
Uh-uh.
Shiva? Y'all don't know what Sitting Shiva
No, what is
is? Okay.
it?
Is hopefully I don't disrespect anybody, but well, Sally has a really good um comment, but we'll read it in a minute. But
Okay.
Sitting Shiva is hopefully just I don't disrespect anybody, but I love it because what it is when somebody loses a loved one in
Oh.
the Hebrew in the Jewish custom,
Mm.
people will come and sit with you. They'll
Mm.
cook for you, they'll come and sit with you, and sometimes they don't even talk. They're
Mm.
just present.
I love that. I love
And
that.
they'll just sit with you. And sometimes, it take a month, a week, or I don't know, but they'll just come, bring food, and just be around you. Not necessarily say anything, not necessarily go out of their way, just being present for whatever you need when you need it.
I love
So, and to me, I remember this particular friend, um, that's what she did. She was married, and she would just come over and I was looking at her, what you doing? And she said, I'm sitting Shiva. I'm like, what? What's that mean? And I'm like, yeah. And then she explained to me, and it was so comforting because there was times that I was going through stuff and I couldn't talk. I didn't have the verbiage to express what I was feeling. I didn't know how to say the disappointment, the anger, and it would change and all this stuff. And she
yeah.
would just be there, just be there. And she said, you would hungry? And I'm like, no, I'm not hungry. And then she would say, okay. She'd start cooking, and I'm like, well, maybe a little bit. And then I would eat. And I was like, and then I would like, I don't want to talk to nobody. And I would go to my room, and then I would come out and, oh, the dishes are done. The house is clean. She's gone, but she left me a plate in the microwave.
Oh yeah.
So and to me that's amazing when you have friends that all they do they come to your life and they just do that, sitting Shiva. And I know there's more to that, but if you do the search and the understanding for it, it's
Yeah.
it's amazing. So you need friends sometimes that do that, and you need friends sometimes that will come and tell you straight in your face what you're doing wrong. And I have one friend, she's earned the right to tell me in my face because not a lot of people do. But she will say, "No, you're wrong, Maria." I'm like, "You're my friend. It doesn't matter. You need to take my advice." She goes, "No, you're wrong. It's your fault. You need
You
to go."
know what? That reminds me of. Let me see if I could find it while we're talking.
And
Talking.
while you're doing that, let me read Miss Sally's comment. She said, friendship is so important. I
Yeah.
know my BFF since third grade. I
Yeah.
don't see her all the time. And even if it's been years, when we get together, it's like we saw each other yesterday. We laugh, we finish each other's sentences. Oh, that's amazing.
Love that.
Oh,
I'm
good.
like that too. I won't talk to my friends or family, and all of my family we're like really close friends as well. And we won't talk for sometime months, but when we do, we
Yeah,
laughing and 2, 3, 4, 5 hours on the phone. Yeah, you need that. You need
you really
that.
do. You really do. You need to. And if you don't have friends, it all starts by you becoming one.
Friendly.
So like, yeah, you start, even the Bible says that to attract friends, you gotta show yourself friendly. And
Yeah.
sometimes I mean, I've tried to be friends with certain people because I want to,
Yeah.
but they look like they've been baptized in lemon water. And they shower in vinegar because they are, oh my God. You say hello and they're like, hello. And I'm like, how are you doing? I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
And you're like, it will kill you to smile a little bit, just, and sometimes, hey, how are you doing? They're like, "Mm,
Yeah.
hey, you gotta give me something to work with,
Yeah. Yeah.
more
Yeah.
than one syllable and stuff. And
No, and that's why it just has to be organic. When you click, and then you just know that
move along.
friend for life. But even though we may not be friends, and talk all the time, even just as women, if I
Yeah.
see you, I just say hey, and I love one. You give you a hug, hey sister.
Yes, and you really are really approachable. I have to say that you are, and you do say comments, and you really do, and you take compliments very well too. You've learned. So, did
Yeah,
you find what you were looking for?
I did. So I was in a class, a leadership class, and they said you need these type of people in your life as a leader, right? And I think it's the same way, just in your life. Period. You need a cheerleader,
Oh,
someone who's always letting you know how amazing you are, right? You need a coach, someone who can build you up, um, and make necessary changes if need be. Okay, you may need to do that, or a trusted advisor to help you improve your skills. You need a bear, someone who's going to support you mentally, emotionally, even in spaces you're not in,
oh
right?
wow!
Back, you need a thug,
Ah,
right? A
somebody
thug.
says, "Pull up, pull up."
Someone who's not going to tolerate anyone disrespecting you, who's going to stand up
Wow!
even in spaces you're not in. And you need a purse, someone who
What?
supports you financially if you need it and have your back.
So you have a cheerleader, a coach, a bear, and what else?
A thug and,
Thug,
and a purse.
thug, and a. I'm typing. I am putting these. Let's. There we go. Hopefully we'll. Oh, hold on. There we go.
Yeah, so I thought that was amazing, just to
So a
hear.
cheerleader, a coach, a bear, a thug, and a purse.
Yes. Yeah, I thought that was amazing. And you do, because as they say, it can get lonely at the top, or just when you start to become more of who you are and you got to let people go, it can get lonely. But then as you start to, for a moment, because you're transforming, so then you start bringing new people into your life, and just kind of remember ring that role in the people that you need there.
Well, today's talk has been amazing, Talish. We finally did it. We finally got together.
Yes.
So, just to recap, if you got part of this live, the ending, go back to the beginning. We've talked about the Wonder Woman syndrome. We've talked about expectations. We've talked about multitasking, perfectionism. We've talked about burnout. We've talked about learning how to say no. We've talked about serving yourself, caring, being compassionate. We talked about sisterhood, mentorship, coaching. We talked a lot about stuff. We
Goodbye.
sure did. We talked about health and wellness. We talked about sugars. We talked about so much. This has been jam packed in there. So, Talisha, I want to thank you for taking this time to be with us. And I know it's not going to be the last time. We'll do this again. And thank you so much. Stay tuned. Don't log off, and we'll talk a little bit more. But everyone, just make sure you click on the link, follow, comment, share. This is how you help me grow. And if you like these type of podcasts, make sure you share. Make sure you continue to comment and follow us on YouTube, and we'll keep making more. And tell us what kind of podcast you want to hear, because I don't know it, but I might know somebody who does. So Sally says, thank you, ladies. Great talk. We need to support one another. Good
Yeah.
night. And with that, we say thank you. God bless you. Have a good night. Bye.
Good night. Thank you, everyone.